There is 5 so far, I think. Yeah, 5, yeah. There's Broken Sword 1 and 2, Broken Sword 3, Broken Sword 4 and Broken Sword 5.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Hello, welcome to Podemup. We're discussing point-and-click royalty today as we play Broken Sword 2 The Smoking Mirror. We also squeeze in an incoming indie and point and laugh at the price tag on the PS5 Pro. Join us for episode 63 of the Podemup podcast. Hello, welcome to episode 63 of the Podemup podcast. My name's Ollie, and there's Tibbs over there, I think, somewhere.
I am over here.
There you are. Yeah, today we are talking Broken Sword 2 on the PS1 and PC, but that's for later. For now, Tibbs, have you been playing anything, or have you got any new cat anecdotes for us this month?
I don't have a cat anecdote for you this month, but, right.
Go on.
Broken Sword, right?
Yes.
A sword is a little bit like a knife if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay.
That's
you've got a new knife.
That's my link. No.
Okay.
Right. Let me ask you something. It's a question. Is that okay?
That's fine with me. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a dishwasher?
I do have a dishwasher. Yeah.
Right. I've never had a dishwasher.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never had one. But things have been getting busy in my life at the moment, and I thought, I don't have time to be doing dishes.
Okay.
Many reasons why I've never had one before, but you got to plumb them in and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
It's just a headache. I just can't be bothered with it. So bought this little tabletop one. It's about about twice the size of maybe a microwave. It's big, but it's not too big. And you just fill it up with a jug of water. Fill it up in the top.
Oh, really?
Put the waste hose into the sink. It does your dishes for you. I'm loving it. It's so good. But I've noticed, ever since I've got it, it's made all my knives non-stick.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you get a bit of butter out from a tub, or margarine.
So it just slides off.
It just slides right off. And it's only happened since I've got the dishwasher. And
that's a bit inconvenient, isn't it?
It's really inconvenient. So I'm doing my toast. I'm doing a bit of toast. I get the butter on the knife, and I've got to baby it over, cup it with one hand, try and get drop it onto the bread, and then you're trying to spread it because it's non-stick. It's making a mess. It's a nightmare. I'm
trying to think if that's a problem that I have with my dishwasher, and I've just got so used to it that I don't.
That's what I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask.
I've probably just learned to do it to butter my toast in a certain way that doesn't happen. Maybe I don't know.
That's the thing. I googled it, and I found one thread from 20 years ago of someone complaining of the same issue, and there was no conclusion in the thread.
Oh, that's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. It's mad. So, in that way, Broken Sword, a sword is a bit like a knife. My knives are now broken. Broken, in a way. So that's the link there.
Okay, I see the link, yeah.
But yeah, so that's what's been going. But other than that, it's great. I love it. It's, does the dishes and everything.
I didn't know you could get those.
No, I didn't either. I just, I saw one on YouTube, I think, and then I had a look, got one. It wasn't too expensive. It was about, I don't know, one fifth of a PS5 Pro.
We'll talk about that later. How many dishes and stuff can you fit in it?
You could probably fit. Yeah, it's good enough for a couple. So me and my partner, it does all our dishes.
So like an evening's meal.
Worth. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, cups and glasses.
Only a couple of people. That's
exactly. Good. For a family, it wouldn't be any good, but for just us two, it's perfect, really. And like I say, we don't have to worry about plumbing it in. So when we move out, we could just bundle it in the box.
Take your dishwasher with you.
Take it with us.
Don't often do that. No.
That's
good. Okay.
I'm wondering if I should buy a second one and offer it as a service for making things non-stick. Like, I don't know, mechanical parts, engine equipment, things like that.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Good.
Put it through on a cycle, comes out, nothing will stick to it. Pays for itself.
Well, yeah, just stick a sign at your front door saying,
yeah.
got something sticky that you...
Yeah, exactly. Need an engine degreased, and it will never get clogged up again. Bam.
Yeah, you could have a whole load, like a wall of them, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Just have loads on the go at the time. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's great. But in terms of what I've actually been playing, I played that Rugrats game that came out.
Oh yeah. That was free on Epic Games the other day, I think.
That's where I got on the Epic one. Because everyone was going on about it, how good it was, and I was literally so close to buying it on Steam, and it was like 20 quid on Steam, and I was just hesitated a bit. I was like, no, I won't get it. Next day, it was free on the Epic Store. I was like, oh wow. See,
this is the thing about those weekly Epic free games. It makes me hesitant to buy anything now because sooner or later it's probably going to be free. And how annoying would that be?
I know. I would have been very upset if I'd spent 20 quid on it, and then it was.
Yeah, I was upset enough when I caved in and bought. I keep forgetting the name of the bloody game now. It's that Castlevania. I've talked about it for the Simpsons. Bloodstained.
Bloodstained.
I was annoyed when I bought that for £12, and that was the cheapest I'd ever seen it. And then I don't know. I still haven't got around to playing it, but not long after buying it, before playing it, I saw it down to as low as like £2. And I was like, oh no! It still bothers me.
Did they ever fix it? There's like a game-breaking bug on it, and they like like on the last patch they put out, there's like a real game-breaking bug. Like if you can erase your game save or lock you into the game indefinitely or something. And the last update I heard of it, they were like, yeah, we're aware of the bug, but we're probably not going to fix it at this point. So
can't be bothered.
Yeah, it's like
just don't do it. Don't do that thing.
We're done with the game now, so.
Oh, that's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It reminds me. I've been recently looking at reading the Dreamcast encyclopedia by Chris Scullion. Yeah. He goes through all these consoles and doesn't. They're brilliant books, absolutely fantastic. I talked about the N64 one last year, I think.
Yeah.
I've just finished it, and it goes through the Japanese ones as well. And there's anyone who's looked at the Japanese library of Dreamcast games will know it's full of like these Japanese romance games, like the visual novels.
Yeah, like dating
basically
sim
got to chat
symbols.
up like 7 different girls, whatever. And a couple of them say that the PC version of the game had a bug that would erase your whole hard drive. That's a pretty serious bug.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that would even occur.
I don't know. It's just I just had to laugh when I read it because I thought, my God, that's definitely not what you want when you buy a piece of software.
No.
Really weird. Anyway, do carry on. Rugrats.
Rugrats. Oh yeah, it's good. It's good. You go about as a Rugrat.
It's a 2D platformer, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. There's not really a lot to say about it. It's a very basic 2D platformer. I believe there's like an NES version as well, isn't there? Like an actual
like a new NES version.
Yeah.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
You can. They actually sold it on like a proper NES cartridge. You can run in a an actual machine.
Mm.
So yeah, that's the sort of level of platforming you're looking at. It's like a proper retro NES platformer. It's good. It's quite good. Held my attention for a bit. I kind of got a little bit bored of it after I didn't do all the stages. I did most of them, and then I'll put it down and.
It's the kind of game, especially if you got it for free. It's the kind of game that you would just play for a bit until you're bored with it. Really.
Yeah. I'll go back to it. I will complete it at some point, but it's fine. It's just a nice little platformer.
There was definitely a time when I was a kid that is exactly the kind of game the game I wanted. Like I thought, how great would a little Rugrats platformer be?
Yeah, for sure.
Looking at it, it looks literally exactly like what I had in mind when I was like 10 or whatever.
Exactly, because they did have a. I remember when the Rugrats game came out for the PS1, and I thought then, exactly the same. Like, how good will it be to have a Rugrats game? But it was kind of that early PS1. It wasn't early PS1, but sort of mid-range PS1 3D, and it just looked a little bit. I don't know, just a little bit odd. But this one, it's perfect. It looks just like the cartoon. It's wonderful. It's really good. So yeah, I liked it. I played that. I've been playing a lot of Streets of Rage 4.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's a good game. I like going back to that. Always good to go back and play a bit of Streets of Rage.
It's good.
And obviously. Broken Sword or non-stick knife, whatever.
Non-stick knife. Non-stick knife 2. Yes. Well, I've been playing the Plucky Squire.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So lovely game, lovely little game. I've done about a couple of hours into it, so not very far. But if you haven't seen it, it takes place inside a storybook that's like resting on this child's desk basically, and you're a character in the book, and it's kind of top-down Zelda-like gameplay basically, puzzles, fighting, that sort of thing. So when you go to the edge of the page, it flips over to the next page into a new scene, and you can use portals in the book to leap out, and then you become 3D. So you were like drawn 2D, but then you become a fully 3D character and wandering around like the desk and exploring and stuff. And it's just done really, really well. You can pick up like real world objects and bring them back into the book to solve puzzles. You can flip the pages back and forth yourself to different scenes and bring objects from one page into another one. There's even this surprised me. There's even like a simplified sort of Baba is you thing going on.
Oh really?
So there's sentences written on the page, and it'll say something like the gate is closed. And you can knock out the word closed, and you can find another sentence with the word open in it and pick that up and put it in, and suddenly the gate opens. And they sort of start getting a bit more complex with lots of different sentences, and multiple words will do different things.
Oh, that's really cool.
It is, and I think I'm just scratching the surface really, because I think there's going to be absolutely full of cool ideas and stuff. It looks like you can go. When you go into the 3D world, there's other bits of 2D surfaces that you can jump into as well. It's a bit like in Mario Odyssey when you become like Sprite Mario. You go on those surfaces. So yeah, looks brilliant. I'm going to enjoy that for a bit more. That's all really, I'm afraid. That's the only new thing. I've got so little. I think I've got the least amount of game time in my life I've ever had at the moment. Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
because I know you're busy. You've got loads of stuff, so you've probably not got a lot of time either. But just in general, Alice is going to bed later, but still getting up at the same time. So I've got like at best an hour in the evening if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough to fit it all in. Just the way of the world, unfortunately.
I did see that someone released a mod for Wind Waker that lets you play as a goose.
I didn't see that. On the bright side,
every cloud.
Yeah, so like combo of Wind Waker and Untitled Goose Game.
Exactly. Yeah. Apparently that's the idea. You just go around and terrorise the residents of the Wind Waker world as a goose. So
that sounds brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I've nothing to do with games really, but I've been watching some old wrestling lately. Actually.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah. I've been on the old WWE network, and I started from like the first paper, like WrestleMania 1 in 1985, and I've done all the pay-per-views after that. And then when Raw starts in 93, I was sort of going through those as well. So I'm at 94. I'm King of the Ring 94 at the moment.
Oh, cool.
And just having one in the background while I work, it's great.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see how it changes over time. Like, well, I came in like 99, and it's at the moment it's sort of gradually shifting towards that from like a quite sort of relatively tame place when it started in like 85, and like obviously it started a lot earlier than that, but the first WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you gone back that far? I mean, have you checked out some of that old stuff?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've gone back and watched the old stuff. Like you, I got into it after you, I think. So it would have been 99, 2000. I sort of got into it. So we probably, our era of wrestling is probably the same. But I have gone back and watched the old stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because not everyone has a finisher, and sometimes people just win with this irregular move, like just like an armbar takedown or something. It's just quite funny because we've just grown so used to particular moves being the only ones that can end the match.
Yeah.
When in reality, they probably wouldn't hurt much more than a regular move anyway.
No, I know.
It's funny, isn't it? But you get into that mindset almost like a sort of fighting game. Oh, that's a special move. That that's more powerful. But
yeah, I always think that, like, doing a somersault off the turnbuckle. How does that make it a more powerful move? How does that make it hurt more? But that's just part of the fun of it, isn't it?
Yeah, and I like in the old days before, because obviously Vince McMahon was just a commentator.
Then,
which is kind of weird because I think everyone kind of knew he ran it, but he just wasn't, publicly.
Yeah.
But they have like a fake president called Jack Tunney, who I looked him up. He didn't actually have any power at all, but he was just an actor basically. And whenever there was some sort of dispute about something, they would say, "Oh, let's call Jack Tunney in to decide." And it would be things like, the title would change hands because someone cheated, that someone did a run-in or they hit him with something. And let's launch an investigation with Jack Tunney about this. And then he comes in and says, right, I'm going to vacate the title and hold a tournament to decide the winner because this guy cheated. It's like, no, you don't have to do that. Just carry on. It doesn't matter. He cheated. It's fine. He's got the title. Don't worry about it.
No, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, it's just so quaint, isn't it?
That's the word, quaint. Yeah, it's great. I hate being so moany sometimes, but I just can't stand modern wrestling. I really wish, I long for like the old wrestling, like the Attitude Era, and I forget what they called it. Was it the Ruthless Aggression Era?
Yeah,
whatever
that's
they
the one
named
that
it.
came after.
Yeah. So that kind of period for me, that's peak wrestling for me. I
think it is for most people. I think I get that sort of sense, but. Because I follow a couple of wrestling things on Twitter, and I get a sense of what's going on now.
Yeah, the only one I follow is Jim Cornette, the Jim Cornette Experience. Just because he gets so upset about modern wrestling, it's more entertaining to listen to him moan about wrestling than it is to actually watch wrestling.
I know.
I love it.
It just seems like no one really has any gimmicks anymore. Like they're just guys and girls, aren't they?
Or the gimmicks they do have are just terrible. There's a guy who doesn't take his hands out his pockets.
What, while wrestling?
Yeah, he wrestles a whole match with his hands in his pockets.
That really feels like they've run out of ideas.
It really is. There was that guy. I think he's out of it now. I think he got in trouble for some indecent actions. But his whole gimmick was he had a really strong.
Oh, we talked about this in the wrestling episode. Didn't we?
And he would flip people around with his. And the other person, his gimmick is he throws an invisible hand grenade.
Yeah, I know. You said before. It's just...
The one time, I can't remember when it was. It must have been shortly after AEW started, and he had I can't remember which one of the Hardys it was, teleporting around the arena.
Yes.
And then another one with a giant Jeff Hardy hologram intimidating someone on a golf cart. It's just it's so dumb. I can't get into it. I just can't get into it.
I mean, I'm sure someone could find like the old Mae Young hand thing, but there's always
it's
just different. It's different then. It it just had a lot more going for it. You know?
It did, and like I don't know, you kind of got to know the characters a bit, you know, and they had reasons for fighting each other, even if they were daft reasons. You know, you got that rivalry built up, you know, and like on now, like one of the criticisms, Jim Cornette's brought up before, is that there's no reason for anyone to be fighting each other, and they don't even pretend like they don't like each other. Like they'll have a big match and then they're all mates again afterwards. It's like, you're supposed to hate this guy.
No, you're supposed to carry on the illusion.
Yeah.
Because when we're watching these old ones, I started just with the pay-per-view, so I didn't see the bits in between. I think they had like superstars on there, but I didn't really bother watching it. But once I started watching the Raws, it's got a lot better because you see these feuds start to develop. And then it comes to a head in the pay-per-view. So you kind of you can have the great match in the pay-per-view, but the feud building up over the weeks is what makes it exciting.
Exactly, yeah.
And you need that. You can't just have a fight for no reason.
I'm not just having a go at AEW. I mean, Raw now. I mean, what put me off Raw? I stopped watching it around, I don't know, 2011, 2010, something like that. I can't remember. But it inflated to like 3 hours an episode.
I know. I haven't got.
Stupid.
It's too long.
It's too long. If you want to watch Raw and SmackDown, which you need to do to keep up with the main story threads, that's 6 hours a week. I don't sleep for 6 hours a week. It's just crazy.
Yeah, stupid. Anyway,
but classic wrestling, I'm all for it. I haven't actually got a WWE Network subscription. I had one for a while, but I just let it lapse. So I might actually go back to it and watch some of the old Raw.
Well, they are coming to Netflix next year, I think.
Oh, is that the whole? Is that the whole network?
The whole thing. I think because they've already in America. I think it's already moved to Peacock.
Yeah.
So you don't even have a network there anymore. But they've got one here in some other countries, but it's all shutting down and moving to Netflix next year anyway. So if you've got Netflix, you can just catch it all next year.
I thought that was just the pay-per-views and things. I didn't know it was a whole network.
I think it's everything. But you might want to check. But yeah, I think so.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
I might just wait for that then. Yeah,
you might as well. Yeah. So.
Have you watched that Mr. McMahon documentary yet?
No, I saw that. I want to get around to watching that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not watched it yet, but apparently it's pretty interesting.
I've seen like a couple of clips of it on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw the clip of Stephanie McMahon talking about how Vince wanted one of the storylines that he was going to be the father of her baby.
Her baby.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And she said it's one of the one time she's actually had to put her foot down and say, "No, we're not doing that."
No, that really is dumb.
That's really beyond the pale.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
No,
that's just wrong.
But yeah.
So news.
News.
Yeah, so I assume you've set aside your £700 for your PS5 Pro. Then I think that's what everyone's doing, right? That's what we're all doing, just putting that money aside. Yeah.
Mate, I'm not being funny, and again, I know I'm always moaning.
I think everyone's with you on this one. Whatever you're going to say, everyone's with you.
Did you see the side-by-side screenshot?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I can't tell the difference.
I could not tell the difference. I
honestly can't
get right up close to the telly to see the slightest bit of difference. Honestly, it's so daft.
It is so daft, and there's people out there going like, "Oh, the difference is night and day," and it's like,
no, it isn't.
What?
It really isn't.
Even Digital Foundry, who I usually consider quite trustworthy, they were like, the difference is night and day between this and the original PS5. And they showed pictures side by side. I honestly, I looked at it and I thought, well, actually, that one does look a little bit better. And it was the old one.
They've made it worse.
Yeah.
Made it a tiny bit worse.
It's a tiny bit worse.
Yes.
For 3 times the price. It's madness. I don't know what they're thinking. I mean,
just sitting through that because they did if you didn't see it, it was basically just a little presentation about it's got this many more whatever things, and it shows a side by side, and you squint in there and you think, yeah, okay, fine, and then you can have it look this good in 60 frames per second. Okay, right, yeah, and then it gets to the end and it just says $699 $699 and £699.
And
As if there's no difference between the two.
I know.
Taking a piss.
I know, to try that on in the year 2024, in current year.
Yeah.
I'm not the first person to say it, but like going back to when the Sega Saturn was launched and they did that announcement of the price,
300.
like $399 or whatever.
Yeah.
And Sony just came out and said $299 and walked off, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was the big, that was the big mic drop moment.
The mic drop, yeah.
I'm just waiting for Nintendo to do it now. Just waiting for the Switch to.
The goal's wide open for them to do it, isn't it?
Honestly, it is handed to them on a silver plate. They just need to come out $299 and then walk off, and it's game over. That's it. It's done.
I'll be annoyed if people end up just buying it, though.
People will, though. That's the thing.
That is the thing, isn't it?
They will.
I'm convinced that not that many people have the PS5 anyway. It's all just scalpers. But
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah. Well, they announced it. They announced it as a in the original PlayStation 1 grey plastic. There's already scalpers selling it on eBay for $10,000, £10,000 for the limited edition bundle.
10,000.
10,000.
I mean, why?
Bundle it up, you. I'm not having that. If I had $10,000, I wouldn't pay that.
No, of course not. Just for a grey one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even like it's like a special console. It's just it's like the clip-on things, isn't it? You're paying £10,000 for a bit of clip-on plastic.
Just get a bit of grey paint and just do it.
Exactly, yeah. Bit of plastico, sand it down, done.
Yeah, I know. And I saw some people getting excited about it. I saw like that Simpsons meme with the sort of Malibu Stacy
one
where it was that Smithers and like some girls, and they saw the new. Here's Malibu Stacy with a new hat. This is the same doll. She's got a new hat.
Oh, she's got a new hat.
I want it.
Oh, honestly, there are times where recently, especially, I look at it all and I think, am I out of touch with this hobby now?
Yeah. Are you in like a spoof version of real life sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, I don't get it. And as much as I want to play Astrobot, and I really want to play Astrobot.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It looks so good.
It looks
really
so
does. But I can't warrant even the current model. Like
no, I can't. That's what I mean.
£50 is just too much.
Just for one game.
And it still hasn't. I mean, it's been out a few years. It still hasn't really come down in price, has it?
Nope. No, it's.
So I remember when they brought out the PS4 Pro, they were selling off the old ones for as little as £150. I think that's when I got my PS4. Was when they dropped the price right down, and I was like, oh, I can afford this now. Well, why the hell isn't that happening?
And when I got my PS1, the year I got my PS1, it dropped down to £99, the value pack, and that was the console, 2 pads, a demo, and wherever my parents or Santa Claus bought the console from, it got bundled with a game as well. So it's like that doesn't seem to have happened this generation for some reason. It's just like no, you want it?
Yeah.
You got to pay £500.
Yep, still got to. Yeah.
And I've sung the praises of Astrobot many times when I played it. And now everyone's talking about it. They didn't listen to me, did they?
These Johnny come latelys.
Johnny come latelys. I was there from the start. No one listened to me.
The VR one, you were there. You were going, this is the best thing since Mario Odyssey.
Exactly. I did say that. And I streamed it for a whole 30 minutes.
Yeah, and they didn't even bother to tune in and watch it, did they?
No. Pearls before swine. Pearls before swine.
Anything else?
Oh, there's that game that Sony launched that they lost £400 million.
Oh God, yeah. I hadn't even. Do you know what? I hadn't even heard about that game until that came out.
I saw people taking a mick out of the awful character designs, but
it's not been a great. Apart from Astrobot, it's not been a great couple of months for them, has it? Really?
It's not. No. No, things are not well in the house of Sony. But
they have to give everyone their money back, didn't they?
Yeah. They refunded every single game.
Didn't it cost them like something ridiculous, like 400 million? Or
I was going to say
it's
close to like £500 million or something like that they spent on it, and apparently internally they were considering it their Star Wars franchise. There was going to be spin-offs and films and comics, and it's online for 2 weeks and then canned.
2 weeks! What a disaster! That's got to be one of the all-time great gaming disasters, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It really is. It's I don't know. I don't know what's happening to the AAA gaming industry.
It's just collapsing in on itself, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it might be for the good, to be honest.
Definitely.
Obviously, I don't want anyone to lose their jobs, and I don't want anyone to have hard times. I really don't. But I think maybe the industry has reached an unsustainable point where it needs to just. It needs a crash. It needs a correction of some kind.
Yeah, we need to step back a bit and just focus on smaller games.
Exactly. Well, like you were saying, the Plucky Squire.
Beautiful.
I would rather play 10 Plucky Squires than whatever this first-person shooter nonsense, this drivel that they were going to put out for. Where's all the fun and the character and all the all good fun stuff?
Yeah, I mean, games like that. You just think these are made, the Plucky Squire, I mean, these are made by people who love games and just want to do something and just got ideas, and they go through them and you think, how can we make this better? And they just genuinely want to make a good product. And these sort of horrible sort of, there's no one. It feels like there's no one at the wheel. It's just like people going along with whatever, and it's a shame.
Yeah. But I saw the Ubisoft is in trouble as well. Their stock prices hit the floor, aren't they? That's all going pear shaped for them as well.
What's happened there? Anything in particular?
I think it was this new. They got in. I think the new Assassin's Creed that they announced, the one that's set in Japan.
Oh, right.
And it's upset a lot of people because it's not historically accurate, and then I don't know. Probably microtransactions, knowing them. But either way, it's caused a lot of trouble. One of their shareholders suggested privatising the company and selling off all the shares, and I don't know, all business mumbo jumbo. But
business stuff.
You look at the graph and it's going the wrong direction. Basically, it's it goes like right down. So
yeah, well,
hope lies in the indies.
Yes, in the indies. Yes. And,
do we have any incoming indies?
I'm glad you asked, Tibbs. Yes, we do.
Hey!
Incoming indie.
God, look at that for a transition.
God, it's good you have, because if you said no, that would do.
Yeah. No, I don't. So what, first of all, let's update you on the last couple of incoming indies we had. So last month we had Co-Robo, which is the Chibi Robo, the new Chibi Robo.
Yes.
And we had Rad Venture. One of those was funded, one of those was not, sadly, on Kickstarter. Co-Robo just about managed it. Rad Venture just didn't. I wouldn't say it didn't get off the mark, because it did. Had a strong start, but just sort of tailed off, which is a shame, because that was the 3D platformer, Rayman-ish.
Yeah.
But all indications they're carrying on with it regardless.
I'm going to say, usually when these sort of things happen, they'll switch to Indiegogo or somewhere like that.
Yeah, they'll do something else. They'll carry on, and they should, because it looks good. But it does strike me that Rad Venture had a higher target to reach price. They set a higher target for themselves than Co-Robo did, and the other indie game, which I'm about to talk about in a minute. And it just makes me think, why set it so high? Why don't you just set it really low? Because you still get everything that people fund you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
As long as you hit that target, you will get everything that people give you. So why not just set it quite low to make sure you get it? I don't quite get that.
I think maybe they're worried about not being able to meet, especially if they've offered rewards and things, especially if it's physical
I suppose,
rewards.
yeah.
They don't want to take the money and then spend it on development and run out, not have enough to fulfill the rewards and things. I would imagine that's part of it.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Fair enough. I didn't think about that. Yeah, because you've got to have certain costs involved, and you've got to make sure you cover that, because if you don't, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, fair point. There you go. That's an answer to my question. So this month, the game in question is called Fading Skies.
Oh, I saw you playing that.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah, it's got a demo out. It might not be available for much longer, actually, so you might want to get on that. But it's a nice it's a really nice 3D action game. It's hit its target. It's got just a couple more days on Kickstarter right now. So by the time this episode comes out, it'll have finished. So you play as the girl. There's some stuff about dragons. To be honest, I couldn't really follow the story because bits of it were missing because they hadn't done them yet.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, the gameplay wise, it's nice. So it's like a beautiful, like a really nice sort of Tears of the Kingdom looking world. There's like floating islands and rocks in the sky and stuff. And you kind of unlock more moves as you go through. There's lots of nice, really nice platforming, some challenging bosses. It's like a 3-hour demo, so I've been working my way through it. And you get like at the end, you get a move where you can fly for a bit, which is really nice. It kind of looks at first glance like an open world game, but the developers wanted to make something that gameplay wise felt more like a PS2 and GameCube era kind of game, like a linear thing. So it's got like a series of sort of quite openish areas where you can explore and find stuff, but it's all kind of like you then move on to the next area. So it's it's pleasantly linear, I would say. Not overwhelming like an open world game. So yeah, it's nice. It just looks really beautiful, really sort of vibrant and colourful. And it's just well made. Like it controls well and everything. So I quite enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
So it's coming to Steam, PS5, and Xbox in 2026.
I remember that someone tweeted recently. I can't remember who it was, so I do apologise if they happen to be listening and they think I'm stealing their bit, but I'm not. And they said the secret to world building in video games is mess up the moon. It's always interesting. If there's something messed up about the moon, that's all you need. I kind of think that about having floating islands and floating rocks.
Yeah, true.
Just stick those in there, and suddenly it's automatically an interesting world.
Everyone loves a floating island.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's something that captures people's imagination, doesn't it?
Yeah, you think what are they doing up there?
That's kind of it, really. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Not for the show, obviously. We've still got Broken Sword to talk about, but the preamble. We went on a couple of tangents about dishwashers and wrestling, but it's all good.
Yeah. I mean, if we could afford, if Sony made the PS5 affordable, maybe we'd have something a bit more to talk about.
Maybe we'd have been playing Astrobot and talking about it.
Maybe if Sony sent us one for free.
Oh yes. Yes, we probably need 2.
Yeah.
Or we could do the share thing that I suggested. Just send it back and forth every week. Yeah, it'd be nice. Sony, do get in touch. Our mail@podemup.live.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about Broken Sword 2, The Smoking Mirror, shall we?
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yes. In a minute.
I was going to say let's do it, and I caught myself just let's talk about that.
The Video Game Book Club.
Hello, welcome back. Today we're talking about Broken Sword 2, The Smoking Mirror. This was developed by Revolution Software and published by Virgin Interactive. It was released in October 1997 for the PS1 and PC in the US and Europe. A 2010 remastered version was also released for PC and OS X on Steam and GOG, plus iOS and Android. The PS1 original can go for about £20. And I think the PC version, if you can even run it, the original PC version goes for about 50p. So
yeah, you can. And if you pick up the PC version, 50p, it runs on Scum VM, so you can get it. You can play it on anything.
Brilliant. So it's another 2D animated point-and-click adventure game.
Yes.
Broken Sword 2 has you resume control of George Stobart as he attempts to rescue his kidnapped girlfriend Nico Collard, and in doing so unravels a drug smuggling ring and divine forces that threaten to destroy all of mankind as they embark on a round-the-world adventure. So, you chose this?
Yeah, I did.
What's your history with it?
I just played it a lot, and I liked it.
That's fair enough.
No. When I first got my it was the Christmas I got my PlayStation. It was on one of the demo discs that I got with the PlayStation. So I played that little section that was on the demo disc so much because I didn't have much to play back then. You know, I had a couple of games I got for Christmas. I had the little stack of demos, so I was just playing those over and over and over and over.
Oh, it's just I miss the days where you were just limited to a few demos on a disc.
Yeah,
and you just you really got, and it didn't necessarily buy the full games off them, but sometimes that was just enough, just to play over and over again.
Some of the demos were really quite generous as well. You could just play a good chunk of the game from them.
I remember loving the Die Hard arcade demo.
Yes.
On Saturn. I loved that. I played that over and over again. It was so good.
Yeah, so good.
Good game.
But yeah, so I played that. Eventually, I picked it up the full game on the PlayStation, and again on the PC, and again on Android, and again when they remastered it. So wow, I'm a big fan of the Broken Sword things. I really like the characters. I like the sense of humour, and I like. At least I thought the puzzles aren't the usual. They're not really wacky, insane logic that you get from point and clicks. They're usually quite doable. That's why I thought, see what you think of this one in terms of the puzzle type thing.
Yeah, I think certainly gameplay wise, that was the biggest difference I found between that and Discworld.
Yeah,
which we played a couple of months ago. So in that one, you had quite a lot of areas you could wander around in. I did quite like exploring them. But the problem is, in order to solve any one puzzle, you'd have to get a seemingly unconnected object from one place, bring it back to a completely different place, and apply it to something in order to get something that you wouldn't even expected to get. So I genuinely struggle to see how anyone actually managed to do that without a walkthrough or just trying everything. But this definitely felt a bit more logical.
Yeah.
I did still have some trouble with it.
I was going to say there are still moments, but
it was I did have to rely on a walkthrough quite a bit, just because and also just mainly because of the situation I'm in earlier, which I mentioned earlier. Not having that much time to play games, I didn't want to be sat around for like half an hour trying to solve the same puzzle. So I kind of gave myself a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, this ain't. I've got to look it up. But yeah, it was. I'd be lying if I said I really got into it. I'll be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I thought it was really nicely presented. Just really quite stylish. I really liked the animation. Very sort of slick, and very characterful. The characters were good. It was. It just had a nice sort of theme to it. But for one reason or another, I don't know why, it just didn't grab me. It didn't really make me want to play much more of it than what I played. I finished the Marseille level.
Yeah.
So, which is what you recommended.
That's I like that.
But I got to be honest, I didn't feel like coming back for more after that.
Oh, okay.
I appreciated it. I thought it was. I could see why you liked it. I could see why people like it. But I think it's the point and click. I think there's something about the point and click games that just doesn't appeal to me that much. It literally just doesn't point and click at me.
Yeah.
And it's always been that way. Like I've always seen them, and I thought I don't know if I like that. It just never grabbed me. I think I've just always been more of an action game sort of fellow.
Yeah, I guess.
And there's something about the sedate pace that has never grabbed me.
I think that's why I like. It's different, obviously. But do you like Columbo?
I've never seen Columbo.
Oh, okay. Do you like Murder, She Wrote?
Again, never really seen it, but I know the kind of program you mean, like a sort of a slower paced murder mystery.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's these stories where the stakes are extraordinarily high and there's people in peril or worse.
Yes.
But everyone's just taking their time.
It's quite chill about it. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It's just really slow. Really, there's a sense of urgency still, but kind of. It's just in the background, and in the meantime, everyone's just exploring the village, seeing what's going on, and I kind of like that.
Yes, there is that feel about this game. Yeah, it does have that sort of slightly sleepy atmosphere to it.
Yeah, his girlfriend's been shot with a poison dart and carried off to who knows where, and I'll just take a wander down. Wander downtown, speak to an old policeman I used to know. Yeah. Wander off here.
I will say it does start very dramatically, as you said. They literally, because this is the sequel. There's one before this, where I presume you get to know the characters, and this kind of chucks you in at the deep end in a way, in the sense that these two characters have met up again. They've gone to this house because she's doing some reporting or something. She's got a lead about something, and there's this Native American. Is it Native American or a Central American?
Yeah. Central American.
Chap answers the door, and before you know it, she's shot in the neck with a poisonous dart. Not a poisonous dart, but like a sleeping dart, I suppose. And then she gets carried off, and then he's tied up with a deadly spider approaching him, and the room is on fire. So I thought, wow, this is pretty good. This is not the sedate pace I was expecting from this game. This is good. I like it. It's a bit of action. And then you got to I managed to solve the first few puzzles, and you had to untie yourself, and you knock the bookcase over onto the spider and that sort of thing. And then, but once he gets out of that situation, the pace slows down completely, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's really quite funny. But yeah, and it was. I don't know. There was just. I don't know how. When something just doesn't click. And you don't really know why.
Yeah, it just doesn't gel with you.
Yeah, I did find some of the pixel hunting a bit frustrating. Because I think
that can be true.
Because from the walkthroughs, I see that when you roll over something, you get the name of the thing that it is, so that helps you work out that it's a thing that you can pick up and investigate. But you don't get that on the PS1, which is what I was playing on. I was playing on an emulator.
Oh, okay.
Because I figured I'd just do the same thing that you did. I'd play the original.
Yeah.
That you did. Plus, it's easier for me to play it downstairs with the controller and stuff, But you don't get that. I think the icon might change, but it's quite subtle, and it took me a while to realise that I was missing stuff just by not going over them. So that was a bit frustrating.
It is a harder play on the PS1.
Yeah. I probably should have gone with the PC version in hindsight, but yeah, I don't know. Would you say this is mechanic-wise, it's relatively standard point-and-click fare?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like you've got whenever you talk to someone, you've got a selection of topics to ask them. They appear in like icons at the bottom corner, and then you sort of investigate stuff, and then you can pick up objects, quite sort of randomish objects, and then you're faced with a puzzle, something that doesn't work, and you can apply one of those objects to the thing, and hopefully the story will progress. I was thinking about it. It's just one of the problems for me is that you are at the mercy of what the developer wants you to do. So there are quite a few times where I've got an object and I think, well, I could just apply this object to this, and if I do it in a particular way, it will work. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I can think through logically. I could probably use this object to do this task, but then he just sort of shrugs at you or just says, no, that's not going to work. And it becomes clear that the
Marseille level, there's a bit where you have to take the top off a hot stove pipe outside the hut. Yes. And you've got a boat hook. In real life, you could literally just knock it off with a boat hook, but the game doesn't want you to do that. So
no. This is the thing. This is kind of the thing that frustrates me, because the developer wants you to use a slightly more obscure object, because that's just part of the puzzle, and that always kind of bothers me, because if you're in a 3D just action game, a platformer, you've got you know your moves from the get go. It just takes a couple minutes to work out the physics. You kind of get an idea of how far you can jump, and whether you should use a particular move to get to a ledge or activate something. and those are the rules. Like if you can't do it with one of those moves at your disposal, then you know why you can't do it. It's clear. Or sometimes you can find a way of sort of bodging it and hacking it and just finding a way around something that the developer didn't intend. But because the set rules established from the get-go, you can find ways around things and make things activated in a way that the developer didn't intend.
Yeah.
In a point and click, you can't do that. You are there's no way to make that boat hook knock off that thing, even though physically you could.
No, that's true.
So I don't know. There's just something about that winds me up a bit. I don't know why.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I could see why that would be annoying. I guess maybe it's because maybe I don't know. Maybe it's because I got used to it so long ago, playing the game over and over.
Yeah,
I've kind of got used to what the game expects from
definitely.
me. So I
think you become, if you're a point and click player, you just sort of accept that. It's just like, it's almost like a. I think of it. It's kind of like a book or a story that it's in a linear form and it's just chopped up in loads of little pieces, and you've just got to figure out how to go to the next piece.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Essentially, if you love that, that's great. More power to you. That's brilliant. But I don't know. It's just not what I've grown up playing. So it feels a bit alien to me. It feels a bit limiting. But I think I wouldn't say it's that I could never love a point and click. I think it just depends. It has to get the right character balance. Like even with Discworld, I quite enjoyed the world and the characters and the dialogue, and I enjoyed just messing around, just talking to people and seeing the funny things they would say.
Yeah,
it's just the gameplay that stopped me from enjoying that. If the gameplay was more like this in Discworld, I think I might have got further in Discworld than I did, and I probably would have forced myself through it more. So I think it's just that combination of getting the gameplay not too obscure and challenging, and getting just the right blend of world and characters that interest me.
Maybe for a future episode, Dan, maybe next year sometime, we should try Broken Sword 3, because that's not point and click at all. That's,
is it not?
No, that's a sort of a third-person action adventure.
Oh, I might like that better.
Yeah,
I didn't realise that. I thought they were all point and clicks.
No. All of them are. Apart three's the sort of the
black sheep,
the odd one out. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, maybe I'll put that on the shortlist for next year. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's one of the things I love about Broken Sword, though. You were saying about the characters and showing them, showing the different objects to different characters and seeing what responses they give. And I just love that the fat old gatekeeper on the Marseille level.
He was good.
He's just so funny. He's just great. You can show him like a love letter from Nico's secret admirer, and he goes, "That's disgusting. Did you write that?" And he say, "Oh no, it's a letter from my girlfriend's admirer." "Oh, if I were you, I'd smack him in the mouth." I just love his character.
Yeah.
He's just so down to earth and so vulgar. He's brilliant.
I think it's him that says this. I've got a quote that I wrote down. Hang on, I need to reach for my notebook because I didn't transfer it to my digital notes. But let me just try and find it. He says, is it him who says olives are the devil's butt nuggets?
Yes.
That did make me laugh.
And you talk to him about the dog, and he goes, he doesn't look like he's got enough energy to wag his tail.
Yeah.
He says he's like my wife. She's like a slug in a coma till she's annoyed. Then she's like a tiger with a rat up his ass.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I just the game is full of little things like that.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, feel free to tell us about any others.
I was going to say, yeah. Did you get to? I'm thinking of, as I say it now. You hear these bits, and if you've never played the game, you might listen to these quotes, and you think, well, that's not that funny. But it's in the context of the characters and the environment and the interaction. And I'm not a voice actor. You've got to see it in the game, and it's great.
It is, yeah. It's like with any sort of comedy, really. Sometimes when you're watching a comedy show, the jokes don't land as well as they will the second or third time you watch
Yeah.
it. Once you get used to the characters, you know, the character just saying something in a certain way is funny.
Yeah.
As opposed, if you don't know the character, it's not funny. But it's just, and I think that's the case with you in particular. With, you know, this game so well. You know, these. I'm not saying that it's not funny in the first place, but it just enhances it when you sort of get to know the characters.
Did you get to the stage? I don't think you would have done if you quit
I
after
stopped
Marseille.
at the end of Marseille, I'm afraid. Just also for time reasons, and also just because I didn't feel like going on much further. But yeah.
You get to this you get to this town, this sort of Central American town.
Yeah.
And there's a little bloke. I didn't get this far on this playthrough, so I'm going from memory from the last time I played it. But there's a bloke slumped up against a building on one side of the square. And he's either got no legs or he's got broken legs. So he's paralysed anyway. And you're asking him for information, and he doesn't know anything. And George gets a bit frustrated with him, and he says, how can you not have seen what happened? It's just the other side of the square. And he just looks at him and he just says, might as well have been the other side of the moon. And it's just a really subtle way he says it, but it's really funny. It's just I love it. These characters are so full of character. I just, you know, even the little incidental characters, not the big main ones that are going to advance the story, just the little people going about. They're all so vibrant and individual, and they've all got little funny things to say. And
well, yeah, I like the drunk guy in the art gallery.
Yes.
you put some it's absinthe, isn't it? You put some absinthe in his drink a couple of times, and he just sort of keels over and, and breaks something, and that causes a distraction. So you can go round the back and have a look at what's around there. Yeah, he was quite funny. I liked him.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would. The main thing about the Broken Sword games, I think, is their characters. Yeah, I really like it. It's a good game. I would recommend anyone play it. I would recommend playing the first two games. The other ones are great as well, but I think the first two games are really, you know, that's the heart of Broken Sword. Those first two games, right. I think.
How many are there in total?
There is 5 so far, I think. Yeah, 5. Yeah. There's Broken Sword 1 and 2, Broken Sword 3, Broken Sword 4, and Broken Sword 5.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Could see where it's going once you got to 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So apart from 3, they're all point and clicks. What were the later ones released on? When did they come out? Did they pass the PlayStation era? Or?
Yeah. So Broken Sword 3 was PS2, Xbox, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Broken Sword 4 was PC only, and that was kind of a cross between. It's point and click, but it was like 3D environments.
Okay.
So it was somewhere in between 2 and 3, and then Broken Sword 5 was, I think that was on PS4.
Okay.
And that generation,
Quite
and
recent,
that's sort of a classic point and click style. You know, same thing. And I would have chosen that one to play, but I think I said when we were talking about it, a lot of the game is sort of nostalgic callbacks to the first two games.
Okay, yeah.
So if you hadn't played the first two games and you didn't know the characters, a lot of the puzzles, a lot of the jokes wouldn't really land the same. So if you've never played it before, I would start with the older ones rather than the latest. So.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the kind of genre of game, a bit like RPGs and JRPGs, where maybe I should wait until I'm retired, or at least have a lot more time on my hands to get into them, where I've just, you know, I can just mess around with them, you know, for ages. They just don't fit my lifestyle at the moment. I think it's fair to say it's tough to get it all in when you can sit there for half an hour trying to figure out a puzzle, and that's half of my time in the evening to play games gone. So it's just a bit frustrating from that point of view. But I can see why people like them. and I can see the characters and the stylishness. Even things like the music, like they didn't really have any music tracks. It just had sort of these really short, sort of incidental, quite nice atmospheric sort of musical flourishes. Whenever you solve a puzzle, you get this nice little bit of music in it.
Yeah,
I thought that was quite nice. It's a nice stylish way of doing it.
There is one music track in the game which you wouldn't have got to, I don't think, which is "Happiness is an Inside Job."
Okay.
Didn't think get to that.
No, I don't think so.
Look it up and we'll insert that.
I'm sure I'll put it in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got lovely steel drums.
Okay.
What more do you want?
No, fair enough. I'll stick it in. Yeah. Okay. That's about it. That's about as much as I can say about it. I don't know if you want to say anything else.
No. I think that's a fair assessment on your part.
Yeah, I know. I was a bit anxious about it because I'm already aware that I've already trampled all over Medieval and Dino Crisis, so I'm systematically destroying your entire PS1 childhood catalogue. So I'm very sorry about that. I don't mean to, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes.
I don't mean to. You just got bad taste in games tips, you know.
I just don't like the games you like. No, generally
we just don't have anything in common, mate. All right, that's all.
Nothing. I don't know how we've managed the last 63 episodes, to be honest.
I'm sure I've disliked a game that you've suggested. I'm sure.
You didn't like.
Oh, I did. Mischief Makers.
Mischief Makers, but then I hadn't played that one before either.
Oh.
So that wasn't like a childhood favourite. So it wasn't quite the same thing. But yes, that is a suggestion I had that you didn't like.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been many others though, is there?
No.
You're quite laid back kind of guy. You'll be happy playing anything, won't you?
I'll be alright. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a lot more selective. No. We've had fun on other PS1 games, haven't we? I liked,
Ape Escape.
Ape Escape was all right. Yeah, I liked Incredible Crisis. That was really good.
Oh, Incredible Crisis, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sure there's others. I even liked Overblood and Overblood 2.
Yes.
So yeah, there you go. It's not just a case of the fact that I hate the PS1 library, because it's got some good games in there. Somewhere
it's got some
in
great
there.
Things. I'm trying to make an effort not to keep picking PS1 thing. I'm trying to broaden the horizons a bit, but
it's fine.
It's
fine.
It just happened to be.
It's got such a big library. And
I wanted you to have another go at a point and click.
Yeah.
Because I thought I wanted to. Maybe if you try point and click with slightly less obtuse puzzles, you might find a new love for the genre. But obviously not.
It was a valiant effort, and in a different part of my life, maybe it would have stuck a bit better. But I think just for now, if not being able to go through it at a pace I wanted to kind of frustrated me, I think, a bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes just things don't it's not the right time to play certain.
I was going to say, sometimes it's just not right for what you've got going on.
Yeah. So next month we've got a book club special, and we've got a double book club. It's the 64 special.
Yes.
It's episode 64. So you're picking a Commodore 64 game, and I'm picking a Nintendo 64 game.
Yes.
So what's the?
Are you going to be picking a childhood favourite?
No, I've got.
I was going to say, I hate it.
Yeah, I know. It would have been an open goal for you to just. Yeah, go on then. Tell us your Commodore 64 game then.
It's tricky. I'm actually gonna suggest two.
Okay, that's fine, because they are quite small, I'm guessing, aren't they?
That's what I'm thinking, because
okay.
they're quite small games, and I don't know if we'd get enough to talk about them.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
So I'm going to choose a game that I have played. that I know that I think represents a Commodore 64, as most people think of it, a good example of what a good Commodore 64 game is. And I'm going to pick a game that I haven't played, but I've heard of, and it's one of the last games to be released on the C64, and sort of really pushes it to a technical level.
Okay.
You know, it's one of the most technically demanding games for the Commodore 64.
Interesting. Yeah.
So the first game is the one that I have played before. It's Monty on the Run.
Okay, I've heard of this.
Yeah,
Are
it's
you a mole?
a little mole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's on the run. There is a storyline to it. He's on the run for crossing a picket line during the miners' strikes or something like that. I think. And he's got to get out of town quick snap. So
Right. Fair enough.
he's got to go around the house and collect all the bits of his escape kit to make it out.
Okay.
So, but it's got, in my opinion, and I will repeat this next week several times, no doubt, one of the absolute best soundtracks and the best game over sequence. It's glorious.
Okay.
Chef's kiss.
I'm looking forward to that.
So, and the second game is a game called Mayhem in Monsterland.
The name rings a bell.
It's a side-scrolling platformer.
What was the other one? Was that also a platformer? Or?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, both platformers. Yeah.
That's fine.
So that I think those two, the first one will give a good snapshot of what, you know, a good standard Commodore 64 game. The second one should give us, this is the C64 right at the end of its life, really being pushed to the limit to see what sort of graphics and sound and stuff it can churn out. So
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
should give us a good spread.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've never played a Commodore 64 game.
Cool.
Yeah. I came close. No, I'll save that story for next time. It's not. It's not a very interesting story, but it's a story nonetheless. So yeah, Nintendo 64 is my bag. So I've picked. There's quite a few N64 games I want to play on the podcast at some point. And I've narrowed it down to two options, and I still haven't quite picked between them.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you both of them, and we can't do both of them because it would be too much. But I'm going to say you can pick which of these two. So one of them is Space Station Silicon Valley, and the other one is Paper Mario. Now, Paper Mario is a 20-plus hour game, which we're not going to play all that. I don't think we need to go anywhere near the end to get enough to talk about it. But it is a bigger sort of RPG game. It's one I've always wanted to play.
My head says Paper Mario, but my heart says Space Station Silicon Valley.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to go with that.
Okay. Fair enough. I thought you probably would. Have you played that before?
I have. Not in depth, but I played a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's always looked like it might be an interesting platform.
And I've also played the much maligned PlayStation port of it.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
Okay, so we're playing the superior N64
We'll play
version.
the true experience.
Yeah, so you essentially play as a microchip, don't you? Just jumping around and attaching itself to sort of robot animals, and then they all have their own little abilities and things. So it's sounds cool. Okay, that's a bit more manageable than a Paper Mario. We'll save that for another time, I think.
I'm gonna say I think Paper Mario would have a lot more in depth for us to talk about and examine, and I think probably would be the better game of the two, but I think there's a lot more. Probably a lot more heart in, and a lot more quirky, inventive things in Space Station Silicon Valley. So I think,
I think it sounds like it might gel well with the other two games you've picked as well. It sounds like they have the same sort of sense of humour. I don't know.
Yeah,
it just seems like they gel more. I don't know. So yeah, that sounds like good. Okay, so it's a triple book club.
Triple book
club next month. Yeah, sounds good. So, in the meantime, you can contact us. We're on Twitter at podemup. You can email us, mail@podemup.live, and you can also just pop podemup.live into your web browser, and you'll find a list of all of our previous episodes. And that's mainly what you get on that website. But yes, it's good. Or of course, we are all available everywhere good podcasts are available. And we're also on YouTube Music, or whatever it's called. We're on that. We're on Spotify. I think we're on everything, really.
Everything, really, yeah.
Yeah, do keep listening and try and get in touch with us, because we do offer Steam games to those who do. You chucked another Steam game on the pile earlier in the month,
I did.
Didn't you?
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called now.
So have I.
Let me just get
Oh, it was You Suck at Parking?
Yes, that's right.
That was it.
You Suck at Parking is one of, I don't know, about 30 or so Steam keys that we offer. So all you got to do is get in touch with us and tell us what you listened to us on and how long you've been listening to us, and you can help yourself to a free Steam key of your choice.
Yeah.
Do it. I might even chuck more than one, to be honest, because, you know.
Why not?
Yeah, more than one Steam key. Why not? Come and help yourself. They're free. They're literally free. Okay, that's about it.
I think, yeah. Run out of steam, I think.
I've run out of steam, yeah.
Oh, Steam! Hey!
That's what
there you
that's
go.
the platform the games are offered on.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Indeed. I feel like we should end on another witty anecdote or something that's been going on. I don't know.
I don't know. I think I peaked too soon with the dishwasher. Story.
You should have saved that till the end, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I should have done really. But
with a
then
bang.
no one would have listened this far. You know?
No, they just said, "What's this game?" I didn't tune in to listen to all this Broken Sword malarkey. I want to hear about Tibbs'.
I want to hear about dishwashers
recent,
and stray cats,
kitchen appliances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think of anything else that might have been going on, but I live an exceedingly normal life. So.
Yeah. Fair
and
enough.
I'm glad. I'm happy to do it. I don't want adventures all the time. I can't be bothered.
It'd be rather tedious, wouldn't it?
Oh, it'd do my head in.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's not for me either. No.
Oh, did you watch the Sonic 3 trailer?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's good.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. I chucked it to you, batted it right back, and
yeah, no, it's. I liked it. I'm quite excited. I'm going to go and see it.
Cool. Well, I'll see you next week then.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thousands of years trying to chase something that's staring us in the face. When life has lost all its fizz and you're feeling flat, you must remember that happiness is an inside job. If your name is Mary, if your name is Bob, it's up to you if you sing or sob. Remember, happiness is an inside job. A lot of people travel in search of the sun, flying and fishing, looking for fun. But it isn't easy leaving cares behind. And pretty soon you'll find happiness is an inside job. If your name is Mary, if your name is Bob, it's up to you if you sing or sob. Remember, happiness is an inside job. You can have a house on top of the hill, bank accounts worth a couple of mil. But when you lose your spark and your spirits dip, hang too.